I don't hear anything. Yeah. Hi, my name is Robin B. I'm coming from the chatter.
I'm Kay.
And how are you guys doing today? Thank you again for joining us. We have a special guest today. We have Will Flores from Will Flores TV, and we are going to talk about the vaccine, right? The vaccines.
Yes,
And
yes.
go ahead, Will. Tell us what your thought about it is.
Yeah, so this is something that's gonna be a constant thing moving forward. Not to put a dark cloud on things, but Robin, you and I were discussing, they are making predictions that, oh no, you thought it was just gonna be COVID? Sorry, we're gonna start having to get used to this kind of thing. The whole pandemic situation. It took us by storm. We haven't been through anything like this. The last major one was in the early 1900s
Mm-hmm.
and totally caught everyone off guard. And it really pulled the veil off and put the cover off uh, what is going on with our government as far as how things are operating. Because, people don't know that's really the job of the government to protect us. Everything else is extra. And so they fumbled, they dropped the ball severely. And luckily, thank God, we got through it. So now here we are, and you have the RSV, you have the bird flu, and it's this like impending doom in the background, like something else is coming. So we have to look out for ourselves. When the vaccine came out, let me just say this first off. I am not anti-vaccine. YouTube, hear us. We are not anti-vaccine. Because sometimes it's in the shadow banning channels and things when you speak against the vaccines. So we are not anti-vaccine. However, when the COVID vaccine came, which was a blessing, but at the same time, if you look at the history and the amount of research you have to do to properly produce a vaccine, this thing was really they speedballed it. So we're putting this into our bodies, and it's crazy because a lot of people that spoke about this and brought awareness, all the mainstream media shut them down. And it turned out after the fact that they were right. Myocarditis. There was many side effects that came about because of the vaccine, because it wasn't properly researched. So right now, as we speak, you have RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's looking to be confirmed into the Senate. We're not going to get into that right now. On a later episode, we could do that, but we can definitely do that. But the main thing is that people are skeptical about him because he was supposedly anti-vax, which he was not. It was about the COVID vax. I want to show you something. This book right here is definitely a gem. Now, let me tell you, it's a bit dense, I will say that, because my man really comes with the receipts on this. And it's about how the same way they dropped the ball with COVID, they did the same thing with AIDS. Some of us are old enough to remember. I don't want to give my age, but when AIDS came around in the early 80s, it was huge. And so Dr. Fauci, who oversaw COVID, also oversaw AIDS. And he did a similar situation, thousands upon thousands of deaths. Pick up this book if you can. It's definitely worth getting. And it's not just some hoopla. He definitely comes to receipts. There's a really intelligent guy. But anyway, that's another subject. So we'll see what happens.
But I agree.
What did you guys thought with the vaccine? I would like to know your stories. Like, how did that work out for you guys?
But I agree with you. Even now, I'm noticing that everybody now is walking around no mask, no this, no that, and the other. Oh, I had all my COVID-19 vaccines and this, that, and the other. But you know what? In my experience, I've never caught COVID, thank God. But
wow.
Never. But I got my vaccines, but I never caught it because I was always cautious, with the mask, the glove, and it just became a natural thing all the time. But I noticed that a lot of people who have had all the vaccines, you know, they'll come down with COVID. It goes away quickly because they had the vaccines. But the mere fact remains is they're still getting it. And there's people out here that still can spread it because they could be carriers, you know? And then there's other things besides COVID, because I had a bad cold. I think that was like in the beginning of October. I didn't feel like I had the flu, but I was sick. Like I woke up the next morning, my whole face was kind of numb on this side, like as if I had a bad sinus infection. You know, when you have a bad sinus infection and you touch it, that's how I felt. No headache, no nothing. Like I had a cold. I went to the doctor and they said, oh, it's just a bad cold. But that's another thing that's coming out now, because I noticed a lot of people have been telling me that they go to the doctor and this is what the doctor's telling them, they have a bad cold. So that's something else that we don't even know what it is yet.
Exactly.
Like you said, like these people are still spreading this stuff. Yeah, I wear my mask now. I started wearing my mask again. Okay. I mean, when I'm walking, hardly not, but I have it, you know, on my arm or whatever. I have one with me at all times. And when I go in close proximity in a store and this, that, and the other, you know, I always have it when I'm out in the street. I don't. But it's still stuff out there. And people don't know what it is, because this so-called bad cold, it doesn't feel like the flu. You don't feel achy. You don't feel headachy, but you feel like you have a horrible cold. Or all your sinuses are messed up. I was taking sinus pills. I didn't know what it was, you know, because they say, I mean, I was taking allergy pills because, you know, they say when you feel like you're getting sinuses, take allergies, because that's where sinus comes from. Allergy pills. I mean, allergies. So you take your, and at that time, allergies was really bad too, as well. People were saying, but we really don't know. So my advice is to still be cautious. You know what I mean? Don't walk
always.
Yeah, well, I still wash your hands, still do everything. I wear my mask. I was the only one on the mask on the train. You know, I looked around and there was one other guy on the train with a mask on. And I'm like, look at this, you know, just because you got your COVID shots, a lot of people didn't get it.
Yeah, but like you said,
anti-COVID.
And that's the thing, like you said, just not to cut you off, but they didn't tell us that you could, unless you were really in tune with it, you could still transmit COVID and you can still get it, even with the vaccine. You could be quadruple vax, you can still get it, and you can still transmit it. The only thing with the vaccine was that it would minimize your symptoms.
Right. It won't make you as sick. Exactly. But you could probably go to work with COVID and not even really know.
Many did.
And not really even know. You know what I'm saying? So, but you're still transmitting it to people who might not, who were anti-COVID, or people who have a low immune system. You know, also work older people, this, that, and the other. You have to be careful about all of that.
The compromised immune system.
Absolutely.
So my warning is that, you know, just be cautious and be mindful of other people as well. I mean, some people really don't care, but be mindful of other people as well and protect yourself, because that cold lasts me for about 2.5 weeks, believe it or not.
I have one now.
Wow. And that's what I was saying. This can't be the flu. This, you know, what is it? Let me go to the doctor, because it wasn't getting any better. They didn't give me anything. I just continue to take the, they said bad cold. So I continue to take the cold medicine and continue to take the allergy medicine. And eventually it just went away. But it came back overnight. Just like
it's still, we gotta, like you said, we gotta take care of ourselves. So if the next person isn't doing what they have to do, if we're protected, then
you know. So Karen, have you had any experiences or?
Yeah, I had the shots and I got COVID, but and I was shocked when she told me it was COVID. I'm like, what do you mean? But there it is. And I'm glad that I did get the shots though, because I have a compromise and I'm dealing with somebody else who has a compromised immune system. You know, so you got to do what you got to do. And you know, I've talked to people. There's something going around right now, because I've talked to 2 different people that have chest colds, and they're like, it's hanging around. Oh, you got one too. All right, number 3. There we go.
And it don't feel the same. That's the difference. It does not.
It is very different. My symptoms right now are similar to COVID when I had COVID. And I was luckily I caught the Omicron strain, which is one of the later ones. Because those first couple strains were a beast. That's when you got the most of the bodies, from the first couple strains. But anyway, my symptoms now are similar to it. It's like, just basically a cough.
Mhm.
I don't have a fever. I had a fever when I had COVID, but just basically a cough, but it's all chest, phlegm. So,
Mhm.
but my energy's still good, thankfully.
Okay. Well,
See, and that's some of the stuff that you don't really know what it's about, because when at first I thought I had the flu, then I was like, maybe you got COVID, maybe you got COVID. I didn't have
Right.
COVID, got tested, didn't have COVID. I didn't have no fever, didn't have no chills, didn't have
Right.
anything like
Right.
flu. So that was something new too, And there's so many stuff out here that they can even put out there. So be cautious. Just like when they were
Always.
talking about that fire that came. I don't know about that. I'm a little cautious about that too. The big fire that
In
came.
California?
No, what was it coming from? Upstate somewhere when we had that smell.
Oh, over the top.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Smell, and
Yeah.
it was so weird when that happened, because then I kept smelling something, and I went out my house and I was like, what is something burning in here? I thought maybe it might be something in the basement or something they were doing, or the radiator. And then when I went outside, it was faint, but I could smell it. I could still smell it. And then came inside and it was on my clothes.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what is that? And then they were talking about the fire. And I was like, it don't really smell like, it didn't smell like wood, like heavy wood burn. It smelled like a chemical or something too.
And we hadn't been through that. We had never been through that here. The skies were orange for like days.
Yes. Yeah. That's all.
Think about it. A pandemic. We hadn't been through that in like 100 years. The wildfires. So things are shifting.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a lot more changes as well. There's going to be a lot more change. I mean, New York having earthquakes. New York having earthquakes.
Yeah.
I was.
I mean, they just had one in Jersey last week, 2.4.
Yeah.
2.4, they had one in Jersey. But I don't know. But anyway, I mean, our advice is just, protect yourself and be mindful of other people. And if you guys got any comments on this or any experiences, we want to also say Will Flores TV. He has his own podcast as well, and you talk about historical stuff in New York and areas, which is very interesting. I like that. We also subscribe to him, and he subscribed to us, so we're really doing something with that too as well. So thank you so much for being with us, Will.
Thank you, and hopefully we can do another one. This was a lot of fun.
Sure. We'll do another one.
Robin. Really appreciate you guys. I love the channel, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And by the way, I gotta say before we get off, a hot dog is not a sandwich. It's not a sandwich. I just gotta say that really.
Wait a minute, didn't I say that? Didn't I say a hot dog was not a sandwich?
I said.
Well, first of all, we call it Frankfurt. Hey, we said it wasn't a sandwich. You said, well, they're in between two breads.
Yeah.
That's so funny that
Let's still connected though. Let's still connect. It's a clamshell situation. Anyway, I would love to do one on that.
Okay. All right.
Hold you guys up, but thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for being here.
So please like, share, and subscribe to the chatter. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Leave your comments because we like the views. Just like Will came up with a view today. He's one of our faithful subscribers as well. And thank you. Please share our videos. And bye from Robin. Bye from Karen. Okay. And thank you again, Will. And make sure you tune into Will Flores TV.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye from the chatter.
Bye. Nope.